Welcome guys to AFC MMA TV episode 2. Once again, rolling into AFC 8, getting really excited about it. Dwayne Dacuna here with Josh Warner. How you travelling, brother?
Excited. 2 weeks, February 22nd, AFC 8. Big fights, big names, a lot of crowd excitement.
What's going on with the similar first off?
It's 41 degrees outside in Australia. 41 degrees. So I thought I'd show my guns off today. And a good AFC merchandise.
And Hasselhoff chest cracking out over there.
It's called pectorials, Wayne.
I like it.
Bit of gym work, whatever that actually is.
What's our focus today coming up to AFC 8?
We're going to go welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight fights today. We're going to start off with a cracking welterweight fight. Scotty Knuckles Norris versus Kale Costa. Let me ask you a question, Dwayne. Do you know how Scott Norris got the name Knuckles?
I do, because I follow our podcast, but why don't you fill out our TV fans on how he got the name?
Kicked the living crap out of one of his old supervisors, and his co-workers gave him the name Knuckles.
In his interview, he was so casual about the story.
He didn't care. Oh, I walked up, slapped around a little bit, went whack, whack, whack. Now I'm Knuckles.
And now I'm Knuckles, yeah?
Very polite, well-spoken young man.
Some say that was his debut fight.
Well, he's 1-0 straight away.
Yeah.
Just by kicking the crap out of his boss. So, look, we'd expect to Scott. Very well-rounded fighter. First up submission win, rear naked choke, first pro fight.
Right?
That's right, yes, exactly right. I really like what he said there. He was sort of like, I want to stand there and trade punches. If the fight goes to the ground, I'm still going to throw punches.
Yeah.
If they pretty much turtle over and hang their neck out, I might consider a rear naked choke, but in any event, I'm throwing punches all day.
Yeah, and I actually think that's genuinely his style. I think he wants to go on and brawl. He won by rear naked.
That's right.
And look, but he didn't disrespect Luke in any way to say he turtled over and gave it up. But
true.
If you have an opportunity to take a submission, you're going to take your submission.
Well, Daniel Garcia went out there and did a bit of a training guest speaker session at MMA gym out there in Perth, and maybe that's where he got it from. He wanted to impress Daniel Garcia.
Let's go ahead and have a look at Scott Norris's fight record. 1 win, no losses. The 1 win coming via a rear naked choke against Luke.
Fights out of Strike MMA over there in Perth with Davey Johnson, 170-pound fighter or 77.11 kilos in Australia. Look, he's a striker, freestyle fighter, striker. Probably going down the line of a freestyle fighter right now because we don't know a lot about him, but does have the heavy hands and he's Australian born and bred.
His opponent will be Kale Costa. 1 win, no losses. That 1 win coming also via rear naked choke.
Fights out of Kimmakai with Ed Battlelock and Nick Banjo Patterson. Again, 170-pound fighter, 77.11 kilos. Kickboxer from Australia.
So Kale Costa, as you mentioned, kickboxer.
Yep.
Obviously fighting out of
Kimmakai MMA, Nick Patterson.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah.
He's going to have cardio to fight with Nick Patterson, we all know that. Ed Battlelock gets him prepped and ready to go. The kickboxing pedigree is a really interesting thing here. Scotty Norris is going to want to stand and trade. Kale Costa has got shins like dead set pieces of steel.
Do you think there's anything behind both these guys having such a big striking background, yet both winning via rear naked choke?
I reckon their opponents turtled over and cried in the corner because the striking was that effective and just said, submit me, man, I don't want to get knocked out.
Or did their opponents think, I want to take this fight to the ground to win, and these guys have a BJJ element to their game that's being underestimated?
Well, look, Kale in his podcast did mention that he's working on his jiu-jitsu, working with Nick, working with Ed, but at the end of the day, he's a professional kickboxer. That's going to be his standing point. The question we've got to ask ourselves is here, who's going to be the first fighter to take it to the ground if they're losing the stand-up battle? Or even better, who's the better stand-up fighter?
Do they go to the ground, or do they do what we see sometimes in a standing game where if you're getting beaten up, you throw the Hail Marys?
Well, Scotty Norris had that attitude and persona that I love. It sort of makes me think, if he gets a couple of clean shots in the face, he's going to bite down his mouthpiece and start banging punches back. So I cannot see him taking the fight to the ground. Kimmakai have a really, really good strategy every time their fighters fight. So maybe Ed has said to him, look man, if the kickboxing isn't working, if you're getting tagged, take him down, try and submit him. It's a 50-50 for me. I hope they stand and trade. I love watching a good kickboxing battle. Scott's got dead set metal pallets in his hands. Kale's got metal pallets in his legs. This could be a dead set barn burner.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be an absolute brawl, and I'm excited to see it. I don't know if I'd want to call which way it's going to go, but I just think you're going to see a very exciting fight.
I can't pick it. What I will probably suggest is I doubt it will go the full 15 minutes.
Alright, well let's move across to our next fight.
Next up on the card, middleweight action, Clash of Nations, England, Ireland, Alden Bates, Matt McGuinness.
Got one for you, lassie.
On.
Back in the Irish.
This is on. What I love about this fight is what happened to you on the podcast.
Oh, mate.
Share with our fans. Dwayne has been a little bit busy, so I did a lot of the prep work for the interview, got him online, spoke to Alden, polite, well-spoken, articulate, sounds like a lawyer to be honest. So Dwayne's thinking, oh, little dude, bit scrawny, nice looking, showed him a picture, machine.
Yeah, for a middleweight fighter,
machine.
mammoth dude.
It is cut, ripped, mean looking dude. Gonna do damage, I'm telling you.
Oh mate, I have no doubt about it. Let's flick quickly to his fight card, which, look, to be honest, debut with the AFC at AFCS, so congratulations on that, Alden. His amateur record is at 1 win. Of course, he's associated, Joshy, with
Strike MMA over there in Perth, fights with Scotty Knuckles Norris, 185 pound fighter, 83.91 kilos in Australia. We'd call Alden probably a freestyle fighter. He's got the bit of kickboxing, got the wrestling, got the jiu. He's an emerging fighter, so we'll go freestyle. Fighting out of Australia via Merry, England.
Now, of course, he's going to be fighting up against Matt McGuinness. Matt, also a middleweight fighter, also out on debut over here with 0 wins and 0 losses.
He is. He's a Kimikai fighter, so once again out there with Eddie Babalock and Nick Patterson. Look, he's a grappler, got the good jiu background, and he's fighting out of Australia via way of Ireland.
Now, look, just to talk a little further about Matty McGuinness, what are your thoughts on him?
Look, he's got the grappling background, so I was a bit surprised. I did a bit of research and couldn't find a lot given it's his professional debut. Was expecting sort of, fists up, let's throw punches and kicks and headbutts and whatever else comes into it. Very extensive BJJ background, 5-year BJJ student, and he said to me, I've had to fight to the ground.
Well, he's coming off a guillotine win, right, in his amateur fight?
His last amateur fight was a guillotine victory, and he said to me that he loves the guillotine. So we're talking like Cody.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do we have a Cody
We've
going?
got a Cody McKenzie guillotine here. If he gets it locked in, man, she's over.
It's over. Okay, I mean, those sorts of things are always a bit something to be feared.
Absolutely.
Particularly, maybe not so much in this fight, because Alden probably will want to stand up and trade, but anyone who's shooting him for a double take, one of the best defences to it could be a guillotine, because it's a huge threat,
Exactly
it's a huge threat.
Even if they get the double leg and you can get your arm in under the chin, get some sort of
saw
grasp.
it with Josh Koscheck's guy against Cody and
exactly right. Exactly right. Submitted straight away.
Twice, so yeah.
Alden was trying to generate some interest with the fans and was like, I'm going to stand and pretty much kill this bloke, which is probably doable given the size of him. In any event, he did say if the fight goes to the ground, Matt should be scared of my BJJ.
Yeah, I found that very interesting. I found that very interesting.
Alden openly admitted, only a couple of years in the sport, he's still a baby when it comes to MMA. Got the striking background, but he's almost challenging him to a grappling contest.
Well, he was suggesting that maybe not all of his camp, but a good part of his camp has been rolling over striking. He's been focusing on that quite heavily, right?
Yeah, you got to think though, again, Kimikai, Nick Banjo Patterson working with Matty McGuinness, I'd say he's probably going to have the BJJ advantage. No disrespect to Alden at all, but I think Matt McGuinness holds the BJJ advantage here. Yeah. Or on the flip side, I think Alden holds the striking advantage.
So does McGuinness shoot in this fight?
If McGuinness shoots and gets him down, I'd like to see just how good Alden's BJJ is, but I'm really disappointed because I want to see them smash each other.
Yeah, I know, the whole card's looking like just a great brawl.
Alden mentioned, he called his boys up in England and talking about the fight, and they were saying, you do not lose to an Irishman.
I know, the fight of the nations just adds something else, right? It's like Australia versus England in the cricket. It's just, you get behind it no matter what.
Look, I said on the podcast, deep down, this is probably one of the fights I'm the most excited for, but I'm sitting on the fence right now because I could easily see them trading leather and someone getting put to sleep, and the sleep doctor will help them again, of course. Ching, ching.
Yep,
but I can also see McGuinness using his brain, and he seemed like a smart chap, and actually taking him down and either smothering him or getting a submission.
For me, you've nailed it over there. The winner for this fight for me comes out of the guy with the better strategy going in.
Spot on.
And the guy who can stay to his strategy and execute on it.
The only X factor here is, again, McGuinness and Bates' professional debut. You walk down that aisle, the music's going, the crowd's screaming. It's very hard not to get in there and go, strategy, out the back door.
Big right hand, let's come over the top.
So I'm hoping for the fans, they're going to bang it out in this one.
Alright, moving on to our light heavyweight division.
Simple Jackie Johns and Jacare Daniel Almeida. I love this fight.
Yeah, mate.
I love this fight.
I'm a massive fan of the light heavyweight division in any format of MMA. It just always brings a result. Well, usually brings a result, but more times than not. And for me, it's the right balance of good skill and big hands.
That's right. The heavyweights tend to get too big, gas out. The lighter weights don't have that phenomenal power. Light heavyweight, though, have got the perfect mix of speed, muscle, and most times intelligence.
Yeah, I think so.
Very important.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at Daniel.
Daniel Almeida, 7 wins, 3 losses. 5 of those 7 wins by way of submission, and he can submit it from anywhere, man. He's got darces, he's got arm bars, he's got rear naked chokes, he's got everything. 2 decisions, his 3 losses, 1 by KO TKO, which came from a knee injury, unfortunately, and the 2 decisions.
Obviously associated with Extreme MMA out at Byron Bay. He's coming in, like we said earlier, as a light heavyweight at 92.99 kilos. We're calling him a grappler just because of his victories coming from that element, and he's Australia via Brazil.
Let's look at Jackie Johns, his opponent at AFC 8 on the 22nd of February. Record 1 win, 1 loss. His first win actually came only a few weeks ago where he won the light heavyweight title out there at Rochambeau, so congratulations on that. His 1 loss coming by TKO a few months back.
Associated with Fitness Fight Centre, again a light heavyweight fighter. We're calling him a freestyle fighter, and he's coming via Australia.
Look, Dwayne, this is a really simple equation for me. This is your stereotypical grappler v striker that aren't thinking like that right now. We spoke to Daniel Almeida. We said to him, with the most respect to Jackie Johns, Daniel easily holds the grappling advantage in this fight.
He's had the experience.
And the experience. 18-month layoff. You know, sure he's going to come in, take him down, submit him. And he said to me on our interview, nah, I want to stand there and bang.
I mean, we discussed this in the last video as well. We see it so often when fighters get put into a category, how much they want to break out of that category and go, I am not just a BJJ fighter, I can be a striker, I can be a wrestler.
Yep.
And I think what usually happens more times than not, we also said, was you end up either getting clipped once or getting put in a high pressure situation and you go to what your natural game is. And I think he will still want to take this to the ground at some point.
I'll tell you why he will want to take it to the ground, because Jack Johns has a wingspan that resembles UFC light heavyweight champion John Jones. He is lengthy, man, and Daniel Almeida is a stocky, firm little dude. So when you look like arms, it's going to be like mine and yours. He's going to have a good 5 or 6 inches.
Yeah, that's about the difference between you and I.
On span, not funny at all. His reach is just too big. Jacare cannot stand and bang with Jack.
Well, I mean, the other half of that equation, though, is then how do you get in for the shot? The jab is a huge weapon, and so is the knee.
Fake the jab, shoot.
Yeah, well, it's
not rocket science, man. Not rocket science here.
I don't think it's going to be that easy.
I've got a better one for you. Pull guard.
Oh.
Pull guard. When was the last time, bar the Nogueira brothers, have you seen someone pull guard in a professional MMA fight?
Probably Vinny from the UFC.
Oh, maybe late, but he got smashed by Perosha.
Yeah, and that's the worry about pulling guard, right?
If he can get close enough, he's going to be strong. He's a very strong fighter, Daniel Almeida. If he can get close enough, wrap those bear hug around him and pull guard. Just see what happens.
Oh, that is, I mean, I know it's a BJJ black belt, but that still has a huge element of risk behind it. It is a massive threat though, like to anyone who's not a BJJ black belt going up against one, the element of pulling guard is a massive risk too. So
agreed.
Don't get me wrong,
agreed.
I can see it, but in the MMA arena, I worry about pulling guard.
So look, Jackie Johns, couple of interesting X factors for me here. He's coming off a 5-round fight, so he's got cardio for days.
Yep.
Having said that, there's only about a 20-day break between his last fight and AFC 8, so what sort of an impact could that have on his body, Dwayne?
I mean, not having a break can do one or two things. You can either come off a solid training camp, you feel really good, you didn't get injured too badly, and your cardio is ready to rock and you're feeling great.
True.
Adversely, the smallest niggle after a fight, and of course after a fight you're not only dealing with the fight element itself, your adrenaline is spiked, which of course takes its toll on your body.
Absolutely.
To me, that's my bigger worry. It's not so much the injuries. Obviously, he's clear, he's coming in for the fight. I don't think he's injury-ridden.
No, he's not.
But adrenaline's a weird thing.
True.
And his experience, yes, he has some, but it's not the wealth of 30 fights behind you.
Well, let me give you the other X factor then. The steamroller. Stephen Kennedy trained Simple Jack Johns.
Yeah.
AFC middleweight champion, untouchable in the AFC so far. What impact does Kennedy have on Jackie Johns?
I think it's two-part. A, is an awesome fighter. He's proven himself
no doubt.
More than once.
Very
and
impressive.
we know he's good. But B, he will be able to at least tell him what the AFC in particular arena is going to feel like.
And the ring.
The ring, and how to prepare for fighting in the ring in Melbourne. So that is a huge element of experience that you're going to be able to take from someone like Kennedy, that you can't get otherwise. You can't emulate that otherwise.
And the Kennedy's wrestling background as well, what impact that has. Kennedy's submissions,
or defense, right?
Manny Shakalate's submission was a cracking submission with the old chicken wing tackle, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that came quick, right?
It does.
Came quick.
Can he prepare him for a jiu-jitsu battle with Daniel Almeida?
I think he can he'd probably be better at preparing him to stop the takedown.
True.
Rather than trying to worry about the BJJ game. BJJ, I mean, yes, you can do a training camp for 12 weeks on it,
True.
but it's a lifetime. And a black belt is not someone you can go, I've done BJJ for 12 weeks, I'm prepared to handle this guy.
Let's break this down though. If you've got a 3-meter arm reach,
yeah, there's a lot you
jab
can
away,
do.
jab away, stick and move.
You can clinch when they come in, you
True.
can hold that clinch, you
True.
can get tight like the Anderson Silva clinch,
True.
drop the elbows in.
True.
So I think if I was Johns, I'd be looking more to say, I'm going to prevent this takedown, I'm going to make sure the fight stays where I want it to be, and not worry too much about if it goes to the ground, because you're always going to have a hard time there. And if it goes to the ground, and if I was Kennedy trying to get him ready for this, I'd be saying, sweep and get up. I would not be looking for the submission.
Well, I'd be saying to use one of the AFC's biggest disadvantages against him and actually go to the ropes.
Yeah.
Go to the ropes, stick your ass through one of the ropes, the rest of them pull you back into the middle.
Yeah.
So as much as it's absolute BS that the government still won't change its legislation,
From a
fight
fight
like this,
it's
could actually hurt Daniel Almeida.
It's as much working the cage as you would be in any other thing you're
Spot
doing
on.
a cage walk, right? It's the same thing.
To get a result here, it's going to be impossible. If this stays standing, Almeida is a puncher's chance, as always, but you can't see him beating Jack Johns. If it goes to the ground, I think Almeida can submit him.
Alright.
But who knows?
Well, guys, next week we have the video, the main event.
Nick Banjo Patterson, Bernardo Treco Magalhaes. And let me tell you, Nick is pumped up, man.
Oh,
He's
mate,
pumped.
this is going to be a fight, and the video, don't miss it. If you haven't checked out our podcast, get on board and have a listen to them. We'll also have the main event podcast coming out to you next week.
Again, shout out to a few of our sponsors. Sleep Doctor, we love your work. Asylum Fight Gear, get online, buy some gear, get prepped for AFC.
Bet Easy,
Nice.
Derrimut Gym.
Nice.
Thank you very much for all of your support, guys.
We're back next week. Don't miss it. It's going to be a cracking show.